So let me ask you one simple question. When it was last time that you bought something because you felt something because of the packaging is really good? Actually, it happened with me today morning. I was coming here and I bought a water bottle which costed me 200 rupees for 200 ml. But I bought it. And I think that happens with most of you. So, what packaging in this session, what we're going to cover today, that in my all, like what she said, 10 to 12 year experience, I had worked with the larger brands, small brands, to discover one truth, that packaging is not just a box. It's a movement. It's a silent conversation which your product is having with the consumer. And today, in my session, I will talk about how a transformed packaging can help to grow your business. And also, why your packaging may be already selling to the consumer, which you don't know. Who knows, maybe not. So we will find out how it can make it. And that we can start with this slide and a small fun video. Sound? There is no sound. Where this video exactly talks about what actually happens when your packaging goes wrong. What the kind of confusion it might lead. And then your customer will have a completely different perception about your product. How does it work? This clicker is not working? Sorry, technology always ditches you when you need it the most. That's what it happens. So, can we fix it? Okay, so let's have a conversation because she said we had a very limited time, which is 20 minutes, and I have to reduce it. Okay. This plays on that screen, but here it does not play. Can I control it from here? So like I said, it can lead to the greater confusion, and you never know, it can be dangerous also sometime. So with this, it brings us to the next slide, where I want to ask you why packaging matters so much. Because packaging is your first impression. So today we live in a very fast world. Our attention span is very short. So in the case of, it is less than 3 to 7 seconds. And this is what we have when a consumer is making their decision onto the shelf. So packaging is your first impression. It's the first introduction, what you have. And packaging, when somebody sees your product, and packaging is the one which starts interacting, it becomes your silent salesperson. And it is the first communicator about your product, which helps you to win the trust from consumer. And which is also now kind of proven with the data. So this data numbers, which I am going to talk to you. So research says your 70% purchase decisions are influenced by packaging. And 59% brand switching, which is actually very much needed startups like you, happens because of another brand is doing a better job in terms of appealing the consumer, which is where the packaging is not only for decoration purpose, it is actually a color psychology which is printed over surface. It is a conversation which your consumer going to have with the product, and then it turns into a sort of your growth lever. And then it comes to Gen Zs, the most disruptive consumer in the history. And if we talk about in the context of India, we have 65% generation, which is Gen Zs and millennials. So this is the generation as a consumer which you're going to deal. And what they like a product which are shareable, which they can post on social media, and they can talk about, they can be proud about it. Those products, they are brand disloyal, but experience seeker. So if a brand does a good job to give them the experience, they will stay. Otherwise, they will move forward. Because we call it a scroll generation. Within a scroll, your brand is gone. The next brand is waiting for that. And they are the one who love the brand, who care for the nature. They make their decisions on the basis of that, how this brand is environment, they're protecting the environment, they're talking about the environment. And there are another forces which are making this change, which are forcing these trends in the market, which is like the personalization, because people love personalized product. You know, personalization is today $150 billion opportunity. Sustainability, responsibility, this is possibly the new luxury. That's how you say that the product, it is becoming the luxury for the brands. Speed to market, time is a money. If it doesn't happen today, let's say global Huddle, if there are products which are planned for this event, the packaging or the product has to happen today. And not last but not the least, the storytelling. Somebody said to me, this is not the product what sells, this is the story what sells. How compelling is your story which sells? So the question is, then how do brand keeps up? And in my mind, the brand can only keep up with that change if they adapt for a technology which is agile, adapt for the ways which are responsible, or also look for the printing technologies which is faster enough to address those changes. And this is where the one of the technology which I'm going to talk about is digital printing. Of course, I'm from HP, so it is HP digital printing. And what it does, It certainly addresses the global packaging trends as well as your consumer, which is Gen Zs and millennials, in terms of the trends, which is your personalization. But the question is, can personalization happen on a scale? If it happens, then it's a real money. With the unmatched speed we are thinking about today, tomorrow possibly can we get it? And the sustainability. Like I said, the product which are marketed sustainably, they are sell 7% faster. So with this, like I talked about personalization, and I love this example from Coca-Cola. What they sell? A sweet water, a carbonated water, but they sell it in such a way that they always connect with the consumer. They make a point how they can become an emotion instead of somebody else looking at them as just a product. So the Coca-Cola has mastered this art, that how the personalization they can do on a scale. And in this campaign, which you see here, where the names are written on this bottle, they done this campaign in Europe, where they printed 200 common names. And that connected with the consumer so much in that particular quarter, they see at least 10% growth for them. Why? Because I'm going to a store, I want to buy, I actually don't want to buy a soft drink, but I end up buying 3. Because there is my name, James, then my friend name there on the bottle, and then his wife or my wife name is on the bottle. So Coca-Cola has done it multiple times. They have done it in India. And the one campaign which I'm going to show you the video, which actually tells that how it can be consumer, so engaging for the consumer. I'll play the video and then we'll continue.
We at Diet Coke believe that each one of us is unique. That in each one of us you can find that special something that is extraordinary. This is the essence of our brand. We have decided to make an innovative marketing move and replace our branded bottles designs with millions of unique and different looks. Millions of one-of-a-kind bottles. All bottles, in all sizes. Each one is unique. No other bottle in the world looks the same. In order to make our consumers feel extraordinary each time they drink a Diet Coke, we've developed a revolutionary technology. A special algorithm gave the printers the ability to think like a designer and create countless and different amazing designs, which were printed on all the bottles. Millions of designs. Millions of bottles. The launch of the campaign was followed by hundreds of billboard ads. Each billboard looked different. At point of sale, we gave our consumers branded gifts, printed with the same designs as appeared on their bottles. We flooded the TV with a groovy spot and a pop-up commercial every time there was an extraordinary performance on The Voice show. The campaign created a huge buzz on the social media and even on eBay. The results were also extraordinary. We gave our consumers the actual feeling of extraordinary by bringing our brand's values to life.
Okay, so the next story what I have, how do you want your coffee? Fresh? That's what the nonsense. But how the brand can tell this without even saying on their packaging? And the next story comes from that. Okay, so you must have understood. Basically, the idea is this brand was quite a legacy brand in that market, but they were losing in front of the new brands, and there was a emotions which was getting built that this coffee is not fresh. And that's where they killed this idea. They said, my coffee is as fresh as your newspaper. Imagine if that would have happened for the Huddle Global. Yesterday and today we had that pack here. Will the people will not talk about it? People will go mad. And you will get free media. You don't need to market it. So what is like speed to market? When I say agility, this is what it can do for your brand. And what this brand saw a difference, 400% jump in their coffee sales immediately. And again, the free media, which is more than 1 million interactions, what they had, and all of those. Where that can be used, today there are many events which happens as such. There are local campaigns which can happen. The campaign can happen on the basis of certain events, language, all those, which can help you to get it. And like I talked about a point where we were talking about Gen Zs and millennials, and one I would say which millennials love, which is doing something good for the nature, for the society. And this campaign, which is where it comes from. So Amrula is a liquor brand. And in Africa, there are a lot of what they saw, that these elephants are getting killed. So how do you combine this cause with the liquor brand? That's what this brand has done. Sorry, I have a lot of videos, but what I understood that message is understood better when you have better visuals, but it will clearly tell that story in that way.
Worldwide outrage tonight over the death of Cecil the lion.
In 2015, a lion was shot dead in Africa. The lion's name was Cecil, but because he had a name, he was not just an animal. He had a character, an identity which people could relate to. Cecil's fate soon spread across the world. Unfortunately, Africa's last remaining 400,000 elephants could face the same fate as Cecil, because every 15 minutes, an African elephant is killed for its ivory. By 2030, all of Africa's elephants could be lost to poaching. For this reason, Amarula, long associated with elephants, teamed up with renowned elephant activist Dr. Paula Kahumbu, CEO of Wildlife Direct, to launch a campaign to give all of Africa's elephants a name, in the hope that this would make people care more. Introducing the hashtag Name Them, Save Them campaign. A website allowed people the opportunity to name and design their own virtual elephants. After naming and designing the virtual elephants, people could share them on social media. Amarula used these bespoke designs to create unique labels for their bottles. Each bottle is therefore as individual as an African elephant. And for every elephant that was named, Amarula donated $1 to Wildlife Direct. Soon, these unique and colorful elephants began to travel around cyberspace. Web film views topped 2 million. Unique visitors on the microsite spent, on average, more than 10 minutes engaging with the virtual elephants. And in the USA alone, sales increased by a staggering 139%. But by far the most important result was on the ground. Money raised from the elephant designs is helping Wildlife Direct to buy tracker collars. These collars cost in excess of $25,000 each and let the elephants' whereabouts be known 24 hours a day, keeping them safe from poachers. One of these collared elephants is called Tim. At 47, Tim is Kenya's oldest elephant. He is now a symbol of hope that all of Africa's elephants can grow old in peace.
So the idea here is, if you name, then people will be hesitant to kill. And again, that has a completely different notion. So the brand actually see a good growth, but then these bottles are not only the liquor bottles. This becomes the collectibles for consumer. Sustainability today is not an option, or it is must. And like I said, the product which are marketed sustainably, they sell 7% higher growth. And it is not only for the environment. The marketeer started seeing this, how this can also become a selling point for their product. And what is sustainability is like, in terms of packaging, we are talking about here all the recyclable materials, the ink which you're using, which is eco-friendly inks. Again, that if your process can help to reduce the wastage. So with the sustainability, the another point which I want to talk about is we talk about plastic, we talk about ink, but do we talk about natural resources like water? Do we talk about energy that which is used in producing this packaging? So if we shift it to digital, the one big change which can be made, that digital consume your 90% less water with your traditional printing, at least 80 to 70% less energy with your traditional printing, and also it reduces very less CO2 for the environment. So with this, how the Indian brands are doing, the question will be coming in our mind, and the largest, I would say, the liquor brand or liquor baron in the country is Diageo. We all know Black Label and all those brands, what they have. But the Diageo saw this insight and they saw the opportunity and they say, we want to come up something where we will not talk about liquid. So this brand called Godawan, which is built completely on that trend, which is sustainability, where they're saying the water is coming from air. The material which is used, this is 100% FSC recycled material. And even the printing technology which is used, that is the sustainable technology. And that gives them to market their brand. So then it doesn't remain the product. It becomes an emotion. It becomes a conversation point for that. So the question is, big brands are doing, can the startup do it? Because what I understand fairly that most of us are a startup here. So startups to do, what do they need? They need a technology which possibly can do the minimum quantities. Because this is what the question which you get it. So what we're talking about here, just 500 pouch, just 500 labels to start with. And with the advantage of all what I have spoken. No plate fees, which means no cylinder, no plate making, means no investment in that. And then immediate. And the last point, which is unlimited variants. You know, today the technology has a power. If let's say 1 lakh people visiting Global Huddle, each one can get a unique pack. So, like I said, can the startup do it, or startups doing it, or the small brands are doing it? This brand, again, they did it recently. And this is becoming a trend now, where any movie launch here, the first they see the opportunity to market it through their product. Because this is a free media. And in this case, imagine how many packs they must have made it, just 2,000. But then it doesn't become, only remains the snacks pack. It becomes a marketing tool. And this is where drives the purchase decision of the consumer. And that's where we're keeping this session, how packaging drives the purchase decision. So I'm just finishing. Last video, very small one, but will leave you with the thought, is packaging is just for a protection, or can it be used for a promotion? Sorry. Okay, how come that video is not working? Anyway, leave it. So I am also being asked to close it. So the last point, packaging is your silent salesperson. But the question is, how can you make it an active salesperson? And if it is a salesperson, let's make it work harder, like you. So, my last slide, if you are the one who wants to transform your packaging, who wants your packaging to work for you when you are not there, so please reach out to me. I'm here. and I would love to have a conversation with you and to help you to transform your packaging. Thank you.